happen.
Exclusively.
Already insist.
77 WABC.
Our country's in deep trouble. We don't know what we're doing when it comes to devaluations, especially China. They're the best ever at it. We have to renegotiate our trade deals, unless they're doing things that, frankly, we don't do. Let me give you the example of Mexico. They have a VAT tax. We're in a different system. It's a defective agreement. It's been defective for a long time. Fairness to Secretary Clinton. Is that okay? Good. I want you to be very happy. It's very important to me. Why hasn't she made the agreements better? The NAFTA agreement is defective. Our jobs and our country and our economy generally.
Well, there he is, folks. Donald, a.k.a. Tony Montana Trump. Welcome back to the Bernie and Sid Show after an unbelievable time yesterday at Hofstra University, prepping you, getting you ready for the big debate last night.
What a great show, Sid.
Great show. Fun.
It was fantastic. A lot of fun, a lot of action.
All that, and then we had that debate last night. Before we get into all of that, I do want to wish, I'm not even sure she's listening, to be honest. I don't think she is, but I do want to wish, I should say, my gorgeous and beautiful and loving wife, Danielle, a very, very happy birthday today. And from Gaby, my son, my daughter, Ava, and myself, you're the most important person on earth to us, and we love you, and we want you to have a great birthday today. So, there you have it.
I see you, Danielle. That was very sweet, very sweet.
Thank you very much.
Nicely done. A beautiful picture yesterday.
Thank you.
And post on Facebook from Sid Rosenberg to his lovely wife.
Yes.
And, she actually, can we talk about what she's doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's an attorney.
Big-time attorney. Works for a very, very big firm, Anthony Capitola, on Long Island in Garden City.
No doubt.
And does a great job with both matrimonial law and criminal law. And I'm not sure she's listening because she may be in court right now, but whether she is or she's not, she's a great wife, a great mom, doing a great job. And I know you love her. You're very nice to her and my family.
Kidding me?
She
I know.
a great day.
See, I love you, and I know she loves you.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That comes across loud and clear.
Yeah,
and she's proven it throughout the years.
She has.
So yes, happy birthday, Danielle.
Thank you.
And for that reason, Sid he's walking. It's like he's skipping around the radio station.
That's right.
So happy.
Right. I don't want you to think it had anything to do with what I watched on television last night. No. It's Danielle's birthday, and every year on Danielle's birthday, I'm in a great mood.
Well, forgive me for mixing the two up because. I mean, you are gloating a little bit. Let's face it. I know you say you don't want to.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Why would I gloat? What am I going to gloat about? Because she kicked his ass all over the stage last night.
I tell you what, expectations for him were low. Now listen,
he met them
fully. No, he didn't. He actually.
It was worse.
Look. The people were wondering if he's a lunatic or if he would say something that would just outright disqualify him. He didn't do either one of the two.
No.
But he did blow it. He did suck.
He did say two things that were not worth disqualification. But when you actually admit that you're okay with the housing market collapse because quote unquote that's good business.
Well, he didn't.
That's what he said. No, it's exactly what he said. That's good business. Or when somebody says you don't pay your taxes and he says that's because I'm smart. Those are not disqualifiers, but they're certainly moronic.
Okay, play cut 20, Crash. Would you please? Cut 20.
In fact, Donald was one of the people who rooted for the housing crisis. He said back in 2006, gee, I hope it does collapse because then I can go in and buy some and make some money. Well, it did collapse.
That's called business, by the way.
That's to know business. That he's paid nothing in federal taxes because the only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So if he's paid zero, that means zero.
See, he makes you laugh.
Because it's
He's
so
funny.
Listen,
here's the positive spin. Can I spin that?
Well,
would you allow me to spin that?
Yes, but before you do, I will allow you to do anything you want. I do want to give you credit before you make this positive spin. You're going to try the next hour and 50 minutes to make some type of positive spin.
I'm not going to put my head in the sand and like some supporters.
Sean Hannity out there saying you did a great job, his own family. I got to give you credit because when I put on Imus this morning, the first thing I heard was you, and you're as big a Trump supporter as anybody, and I expect you to remain that way.
That's right.
As you should. But you said this morning often on Imus, that he got his ass kicked last night, and you use this word, and this is as bad as it gets. Unprepared.
He was unprepared. He didn't think he had to prepare. I think he was hearkening back to that interview with Matt Lauer where there was no Hillary Clinton on stage, and he thought he could sort of wing it.
And he was good with Matt Lauer.
But he omitted so many things. He left so many things on the table, as people are saying. He left them on the table. He didn't bring up he didn't bring up the Global Foundation. He didn't bring up the fact that she demonizes cops. Nothing about the terror attacks and immigration. That she takes money from the foundation from sexist, homophobic nations, and she pals around with Jew haters and that type of thing. He didn't bring any of that stuff up.
He tried to with Sidney Blumenthal, but he doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't even know what he's with the birther. Come on, you gotta know what you're talking about.
He did not do a good job in those facial expressions, like those Ralph Cramden facial expressions that he was making. They didn't serve him well. People should. I mean, did he not know that there was going to be a split screen? And
he did know. He did know. And
of course.
But how do you want to, before we get to that, how do you want to defend what he said there?
Well,
about
look, what he did was within the law. In other words, he did what he had to do to make money for his business.
Yeah, it's legal.
So he would take that experience and expertise and put it to work for us as a nation. With regards, and by the way, at the beginning of the debate, he did very well with trade and bringing back jobs, and even to a certain extent on law and order, though he still didn't bring up the fact that she demonizes cops.
He did a terrible job. He said the words law and order about 15 times. He said the word Chicago about 30 times. He used the number 4,000. He repeated himself more than Francesa. Just to say law and order doesn't mean anything.
It wasn't enough, though. He should talk about how she panders to Black Lives Matters, the people who hate cops. And again, she marches and parades with Al Sharpton, and she who has visited the White House about 75 times, a Jew hater and a racist, and that's how he should have hammered her on those types of things. And I think that would have resonated. Especially, he never brought up the terror attacks, and that's his strong suit is the immigration thing. The fact that she wants to increase by 550% the number of Syrian refugees that Obama's proposing to let into this country. None of that stuff. I don't know what he was, if he forgot or they didn't prep him, or he was relying on Lester Holt, who, if he was, I mean, Lester Holt is probably up in Chappaqua this morning having tea with Bill Clinton.
Well, I did tell you this morning, in all defense to Donald, he was completely biased, Lester Holt. But, don't blame Lester Holt this morning. Don't blame anybody else. He had to know what was coming. Supposedly, he spent days and days with Conway and Bannon and Rudy Giuliani and this Mensa meeting of his. By the way, she's got Bagala. She's got the best in the business. She was prepared for everything. Trump spent 2 or 3 days doing nothing. Yes, Lester Holt was completely biased. That's not why Donald Trump lost last night.
Here's the good news. We have 2 more debates
You think
left.
That's good news?
You have, first of all, you had the Frazier-Ali trilogy. Frazier won the first. Ali won the last 2.
But they were all close. They were all close.
And also Romney, he lost.
He did.
Excuse me, Obama lost in the first Romney-Obama debate.
Yes.
And Obama won the second, too.
None of those were as decisive. None of those were as decisive as the ass kicking she gave Trump last night. You're right. They all rebounded in the second fight. But he's got a long way to go. He got so overmatched last night. He's got a long way to go.
Why are his poll numbers so high today?
Listen,
then?
I mean nothing.
Those
polls.
He was off his game. He was trying to be statesmanlike and a gentleman, as Kellyanne Conway and those people told him to be. And he's been reading from teleprompters at rallies. It's increased his poll numbers. But when you're dealing with this savage Clinton machine, these ruthless. These greedy, ruthless crooks.
Right.
You have to go for the jugular. I don't care if Chelsea's sitting in the audience. If she calls you a sexist, you talk about Bill's alleged rapes and about the fact that he was sued by Paula Jones who worked for him when he was governor for taking his wee-wee out in a hotel room and asking her to kiss it.
I agree.
And that Hillary Clinton demonized Monica Lewinsky for 6 months until they produced a blue dress with his semen on it.
Right. He could do all that. See, here's the problem, and I told you this for months. She ain't Marco Rubio. She ain't Jeb Bush. She ain't John Kasich. We went over and over how he vanquished 16 tremendous candidates, great governors and great senators. They are jokes compared to her. So I agree with you. I think he needs to hit below the belt. He needs to be Donald Trump. What I'm trying to explain to you is it's not going to matter. She's unflappable. She's up there. She knows what she's got. No, she's not. No, she wasn't last night.
She was last night. She was not. No, he did not because he didn't. He played.
She would have been. She came after him first, time and time again. It looked like she was prepared for anything he was going to throw her way, and he backed down.
He followed the Marcus of Queensberry rules. You can't do that. Forget the ring. You're in the octagon with her,
and he can't beat her.
And he even said at one point, "Oh, I have to be nice, right? I want to be nice to you, right?" Because that was his mentality. That's what they beat into his head. Treat her like a lady.
Right, he said that. He said, I want to be nice to you, and that's what matters.
That's right.
And blah, blah, blah.
And that's what he was trying to do, and that was a mistake. Let Trump beat Trump.
We both agree with that. Let Trump beat Trump. Go after her. I'm telling you, it's not going to matter. She is at her best on this stage. He never has been. I don't care about how many debates you want to tell me you thought he won during the GOP race. He won none. All he did was insult people. He never had any answers. I don't care what Matt Drudge says. And last night he was not a heck of a lot different than he was against those other GOP guys. The difference was he couldn't beat her up last night with insults.
He didn't. He could, but he didn't. He never called her crooked Hillary. He made a concerted effort to avoid any of those types of things.
He did.
And I think that hurt him. And
I think it hurt him too.
And that's why
I'm not sure how much it hurt him.
She wasn't rattled, and that's why she saved the sexist attack till the very end of the debate, so that hoping the clock would run out. In my opinion, that the clock would run out and he wouldn't go to Bill Clinton and the rapes and all of that nonsense. I believe that's why she waited till the end, because it would rattle her. There's no way she can defend Bill Clinton and her behavior from back in the day. It's tough to talk about, even just as a wife.
So what does he do now? He got rid of Lewandowski. He got rid of Manafort. He brought in Bannon. He brought in Conway. He has redesigned his team 1,000 times. Let me remind you, she has done none of that. She's had the same machine from day one. This guy has retooled and fired and hired, and after getting really humiliated last night. And you know that the pressure was all on Donald Trump to do something in that second debate. What does he do? If Conway and Bannon want him to be this nice guy, it's not working.
I think they're going to retool. They're not stupid people. They're going to learn. They're going to know if she brings up the words Wall Street, you bring up the fact that she's bought and paid for by Wall Street, and hammer it home, and don't go back to your taxes.
She said he was too, though. She said he was too, and then he couldn't defend himself.
Obviously he's not bought and paid for. She's the one who's taking big money from Wall Street, and he's got to hammer all that. The immigration, again, the emails, the Clinton Global Foundation.
She's got an answer for everything, and he has the same. He goes back to the same well time and time again. Listen, I think she's a liar. I don't like Hillary Clinton. I'm endorsing her because I just feel at the end of the day she's more capable than him, which was made pretty obvious last night. But she has an answer for everything. He doesn't.
But he can still rattle her if he allows himself to be himself. She's an incompetent, corrupt liar who panders to Jew haters, demonizes cops, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. Bernie and Sid. We want to hear what the folks think. Yeah. Back after this.
Bernie and Sid. Live, local, on at 77 WABC.
So going into the next debate, what are you going to do differently? Anything that you'd like to do differently?
Well, I may hit her harder in certain ways. I really eased up because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But so I may hit her harder in certain ways.
How do you like that?
I love it.
Just what I was saying he should do. I mean, they're going to learn from their mistakes.
I agree with you. I just don't think it's going to matter. I think she'll just smile and smirk and laugh it off and have a better answer than his insult. Okay. Which, by the way, guys like Kasich and Rubio and Bush are not capable of doing. She's a machine. She may be a liar and corrupt, and maybe she deserves to be in prison.
She's a cold-blooded killer.
She a cold bitch, like I said this morning. And she out to kill you. And she going to kill you.
Hey, let's go to Kurt from Long Island. Kurt, you're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Kurt.
Hey, guys. What a debacle that was for Trump, huh? I mean, I don't even understand how anybody could even contemplate voting for this guy. This guy is such an idiot. It's not even funny how stupid he is to become. This was his chance, and he comes into this thing so unprepared and goes off on a tangent every little time.
Let me push back, Kurt. He's been told by his advisors. By the way, the race is at a dead heat right now. Remember, a month ago he was done. He was toasted. The race was over. Now it's at a dead heat.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because he was advised to be a statesman-like, to be sober, to be a gentleman. He stopped calling her corrupt Hillary. He's reading from a teleprompter, and they told him to continue that behavior at the debate last night, and that's why he failed.
She also, and he did do all of that, so I'm going to give him some credit, but you would also have to admit that she had some really bad weeks in there. So when you couple the way he acted, which was better, with all of her failures, it made for his success. Now the question is, we all agree he got killed last night. All of us agree. The question is, what does it mean? How do you quantify that? Does she get some of those points back that she lost the last couple of weeks? Because if she doesn't, then what good is that win last night?
Well, it stops his momentum, at the very least. But hopefully it stays static. That's what I'm hoping for. Right. I don't know, but again,
I don't know either.
Next week we have the vice presidential debate, and then after that you have, in 2 weeks from tonight, I believe, you have the second presidential debate. So there's going to be 2 more debates. Keep hope alive. That's what I'm saying.
Well, listen, we also both agree. Here's where I defend Trump, that Lester Holt was completely in the bag for Hillary last.
Yes.
I mean, completely in the bag. So that brings up the next question. I know Rudy Giuliani said this morning he should stop doing these because the moderators and the media kill him.
They are.
So who's doing the next one?
The next moderators at the next debate, Al Sharpton and Van Jones. So I think, Rudy, that's some very good advice. Bernie had said 1-800-848-9222. We're taking your calls, folks. Want to hear what you have to think about the debate last night after Noam with the news.
77 Get to Bernie and Sid now. 800-848-WABC. Where New York comes to talk. 77 WABC.
Every poll, I won Slate. I won Drudge. I got almost 90% of the vote in the poll. I won Time Magazine. I won CBS. I won every single poll other than CNN, and not many people are watching CNN. I'll tell you what, that place is a disaster. The people they have on those shows, they have third-grade talent as their announcers on that show.
Back on Bernie and Sid.
That sounds bad, bro. It just sounds like a sole loser.
CNN, they do kill him.
They do. I know. I've always agreed with that, but he sounds like a sole loser this morning. Just stop.
All right, but listen,
and I don't hear about Matt Drudge anymore. Seriously, Matt Drudge is about these days has about as much credibility as Sean Hannity.
No, wait a second. Drudge has a lot of credibility, though his polls.
No.
The polls, all the online polls favor Trump, and it's because the Trump supporters are inclined to go online and vote. But other people are just walking around minding their own business.
Right.
But those polls are misleading. Listen. You're sticking your head in your sand if you think that Trump won that debate last night.
Forget about won the debate. That's not up for debate.
And our producer, Flirty Flipper,
he won hands down.
The animal rights activist from Long Island, the Jewish girl, a big Trump supporter. She thinks Trump won last night.
Absolutely,
but not hands. If you say hands down, you lose credibility.
If you say he won, you lose. The only question is how badly did he lose? In other words, we know he lost, but did he get killed? My issue with Trump is this. He didn't even afford himself well. You can lose and afford yourself well. He got humiliated last night. So for her to say he won his, that's just stupid. That's just, I love Trump, and no matter what he does, he's great. The question is, how badly did he lose last night?
He went off on tangents about his business, and he tried to explain his taxes. He went way too long. No, but he's already over that hump. Nobody really cares about the taxes. At least they didn't until last night. He just should let it roll off his back. And he never brought up the terror attacks, the recent terror attacks, which is his strong point. And his policies regarding what we should do about it. He never brought up the riots.
I understand, but you say nobody cares. That's the Democrats' punching point. Now the terrorists and the riots
and which are perpetuated by Black Lives Matter, which Hillary Clinton aligns herself with.
That is your opinion and Donald Trump's opinion, and he should go there. But to say nobody cares about the taxes is silly, because the other half of the country that's going to vote for Hillary, they're using that against him. So it's in his best interest, like he did with the birther scandal, which he just backed out of because he was sick and tired of being called a racist, even though that's the way he really felt, is to just release your taxes and move on.
Well, I would say that this past month, as he rose in the polls, it seems seems like the tax issue did not affect him. And he rose in the polls. As I said, right now we're in a dead heat. A month ago, he was out of the race.
It did not affect him for the last month, but when she brought it to the forefront last night to 100 million people and listed 6 or 7 reasons why, you bet your ass that's on people's minds today.
He should have brought up the fact that she hides her medical record. She lied about having pneumonia, bring up the Wall Street transcripts, et cetera, et cetera. So he dropped the ball is the point. And I did enjoy before Hillary came out in her Chairman Mao hot red pantsuit, the moment when Bill Clinton came out and met Melania. You know, did you see that when they walked out together? Yes. And they sort of lingered for a while, and Bill was like giving her the up and down, you know, look at check this out. Yeah, I mean, it was. Tell me that wasn't awkward.
It was awkward.
And everybody wasn't thinking, look at him looking at her, thinking whatever he. Yeah, right. Hey, let's go to. Let's see. Who are we going to go to?
Before you go to the phones,
John.
My buddy listening down in Florida. He's actually Jerry from Brooklyn, but he lives down in Florida. He loves this show. Listens every single day. One of the old citizens who listens every single day, and he checks in and says, "I'm a Trump guy. I'm still a Trump guy, but he got murdered last night."
All right. Now, again, people like I said, my friend Sean Hannity and those guys who are saying that Trump won, you lose credibility.
Right.
When a guy loses, say he loses, and we're going to come back stronger next time.
Here's what it comes down to. He got killed. Stop it. It's like when a quarterback goes out there and throws 6 interceptions, that doesn't mean the quarterback is not still great. He may be a great quarterback, but he had a bad game.
Exactly.
So you can't say he didn't lose. That's stupid. Of course he lost. He got killed. But you can chalk it up to having a bad game and still being the good player.
You could play the expectations game. He didn't say anything disqualifying. He didn't act like a complete and total lunatic. And in that sense, he won. You could make that case perhaps.
If that was your expectation.
But I like that's Michael Goodwin's contention in the New York Post this morning. But his fellow columnist, also this guy, John Podhoretz, who is, by the way, a never Trumper guy, he says, and with some justification, that Trump supporters should be pissed off that he wasn't more prepared because now it make me look stupid.
Right.
Right. It makes me look bad because I'm supporting this guy, and people are looking and saying, you're supporting this guy?
You're supporting this guy. You're out there at Hofstra yesterday saying, I expect Trump to be Trump. I expect him to come out tonight, swinging away and knocking her out, and then he goes out there and embarrasses all of you.
Right. I want him to know what topics to bring up, how to embarrass her, how to cut her off at the knees.
Right.
And I want him to beat Trump. Let Trump beat Trump. Take the choke chain off. Forget the advice. It's a debate. It's not a boxing match. It's an MMA match. It's an octagon, not a ring.
You should be his advisor.
He should be, because his folks from the last couple of months, I know he's on the polls, but I don't think they do a very good job. 2 things that he should have moved on from last night. Let's just, and we can both agree on this. Your taxes, make a statement and move on. Don't let it linger. And the birther issue. Why would you allow that to be so long last night? It didn't help him.
That was actually Lester Holt's fault for bringing that up. There are a lot of more pressing issues, like the riots, for example. Lester Holt should have brought up. However, Trump did. He rightfully tried to shift the blame to Hillary Clinton because it was this scum, this lowlife, Sid Blumenthal, and others, but Sid Blumenthal in particular, who, by the way, the Obama administration banned Hillary Clinton from hiring at the State Department. He's such a scummy piece of garbage, this guy, whose son is one of the biggest Jew haters in the he makes Louis Farrakhan seem like a freaking rabbi.
Right.
This Sid Blumenthal's son. This is Hillary Clinton's, one of her best friends, who brought up the birther issue back in 2008. Trump didn't make that case properly. If you don't know about it, he didn't articulate it well. Go back to do some mock debate preps, Mr. Trump, because I love you and I want you to win. And I know you listen. I know Eric and Melania and the whole Trump family listens to Bernie and Sid on WABC. John from Queens, you're on with Bernie and Sid. Good morning, John.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Hey, just another day.
Last night, Bill Clinton coming out and with Melania was probably the high point of the entire thing.
Wasn't that great, man? It was just
amazing. He's totally checking her out.
You know it.
Absolutely. But anyway, listen, Trump was trying to play a nice guy last night, try to get some support. There are 2 more debates. He's going to listen to everything she says, and in that 3rd debate, closest one to the election, he's going to just rip her. He's going to use every scandal to break down every fact.
Well, you're hoping that's the case, John, because, look, don't minimize.
Like both of them.
John, I know. I just like them both too. Don't minimize what last night meant. He can come back and fare well in 2 and 3, but let's not act like last night wasn't the big one. That was the big one, and he failed miserably. Now, again, he may come back the next 2 and afford himself better, but he really blew it last night. And let's not minimize that because there were 2 more to go, because he didn't really show anything last night that would lead a rational person to believe, even with all of his insults in his back pocket, that he's going to fare well in the next 2.
No, Hillary Sharp, she's a professional at this, and it showed last night. He got killed. But I'm telling you, he's going to come back vicious in that third one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, John. Yeah, she's a steely veteran, and he had the momentum. And some people were actually saying that if he won the debate last night, he could almost put it away. So there was a lot riding last night. Now it's still a race, and we'll see how much damage he did to himself, and maybe she did to him. Michael from New Jersey, around Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Michael.
Hi, Bernie. Hi. Listen, I really felt that him taking sips of water, it was an early sign that he was stressed out.
That's right.
The Marco Rubio effect.
I mean, on the camera.
All night long.
It was almost like Bush looking at his watch. I mean, if he would have gone for the jugular, I don't think his saliva would have been flowing. He wouldn't have had a dry mouth. He had a dry mouth because he was stressed.
Not only that, he had a dry mouth because it was 90 minutes and no bathroom break.
That's right.
So they probably told, do not drink water for at least 2 hours before the.
Right.
Because I know at one point I had to get up and go.
I went to the bathroom a couple of times.
Right,
I took a dump for about 20 minutes. I missed nothing.
We could pause it.
Yeah. But I think Michael makes a good point on a serious note in that I think Donald Trump, because I think you're right, Bernard, I think he took the advice of his people. It was obvious the way he came out and the way he spoke last night. And I got the feeling from the very beginning, between the snipping and the loud swallows and the drinking of the water, that he was uncomfortable under his own skin last night.
Now
and she seemed completely calm.
Can I just say, I've been studying Trump for a long time, and the sniffle thing, it's not a sniffle. What he does is this. He inhales deeply through his nostrils before he says something. Okay. And that's what he's doing.
So was he doing this the whole time?
I've heard him do this before. In fact, I've made comments that he sounds like he's snorting blow at times.
Really?
Yeah, he'll inhale deeply through his nostrils. It sounds horrible, whatever it is.
Was it worse last night, though, than it was in the past?
He did it more. It was more conspicuous last night.
Okay.
He should not do it. Let's go to John from Brooklyn. You're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, John.
Hey, guys. Sid, take a step back. Come on, really. It was a draw. She should have been able
John, listen, don't talk to Sid. Bernard is a Trump supporter. Forget about me, because you think I'm in the bag for Hillary.
Yeah.
I'm sitting with the guy
John.
who's a Trump supporter who thinks Trump got killed last night, John. He got killed. It was not a draw. Not even close.
All right, John, talk to me. Come on.
Listen, wait. She should have been able to knock him out. She's been locked up for a whole week studying. And you want to know what?
She did knock him out, John. What were you watching, dummy?
She didn't knock him out.
She knocked him out. Hey, Bernard, who got knocked out last night?
I don't know about a knockout.
Social media think that she was giving the answers because she was too cool with every question. She was ready, and she knew every question.
John, ask Bernard who won the debate last night. Ask him. John, ask Bernard who won the debate last night.
Look, it's clear she won the debate. First of all, John, state it. I'm not going to cut you off. State it. She didn't cough. She didn't fall off the podium and collapse. So right there, she was ahead of the game, and she actually appeared coherent and looked okay, despite the Chairman Mao red pantsuit.
I agree 100% with that, but she should have been able to knock him out. He's been on the campaign trail the last.
John, who won the debate? John, was it a draw or did she win? Who won the debate?
You feel better she won, but
okay. Then why'd you come on, John? Then why did you come on and say Sid come down? It was a draw, and then 2 seconds later you said she won the debate?
It wasn't a knockout. She should have been able to knock him out.
She kicked his ass all over the stage, John. Wake up. You may still love him. You may still vote for him. That's fine. I'm not saying he's bad because of last night, but he got his ass kicked.
No, he didn't.
He did well early on with trade, bringing back jobs.
Thank you, John.
And again, a little bit of law and order. John from Brooklyn, yeah, thanks. Johnny from Manhattan. Johnny, you are on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Johnny.
How you guys doing? Okay, so I'm one of the important voters that could go either way on this. Ever since last summer, when Trump gets in the race, I'm pulling for him because he's new, fresh ideas, speaks from the heart, and so on and so forth. But do you remember the interviews he was doing with Chris Cuomo on the early morning CNN shows, Bernie?
Yeah, oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, what did Chris keep pounding away? Chris knows what he's talking about. He kept pounding away and learn the issues. Eventually, Trump crossed him out of the program. Now Chris Cuomo can't get him on. The problem with Trump is he's not disciplined enough to learn the issues. And what happened last night is he was he was wailing on her with the jobs. All of a sudden, when you get into issues that he doesn't know anything about, he's got to resort to bluster, and it makes him look bad and makes her look better and better. The thing is, he can't win with one idea on jobs and immigration and personality alone. He needs to learn the other issues, and when he doesn't, he falls apart. And he gets emotional, and he's sweating, and so on and so on. It looks like Richard Nixon up there.
Drinking water.
He's got to learn the issues, but he's got to know discipline. He's too stubborn, and I guarantee his handlers all along have been saying, you've got to learn the issues, and he's refused to do it. What do you think about that, Bernie?
Well, listen, no, I agree. He should learn more. For example, when she brought up the mortgage crisis and the fact that, and he said, yeah, it was good business, he could have refuted and rebutted her by saying that it was the Democrats who pushed these cheap mortgages on subprime mortgages on people who couldn't afford them. That actually causes
her husband too, by the way. All that happened under her husband's watch.
But Hillary Clinton, Barney Frank, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all of that stuff. That's Democrat initiated. They started the whole thing, but he didn't have the facts to back. He couldn't intelligently articulate that. Johnny, thanks for a good call. Bernie and Sid on WABC 1-800-848-9222. Back after this.
77 exclusively. What is this? 77 WABC.
Come on, man. And with the local DBC news, LL Cool J with a triumphant comeback.
Don't call it a comeback. Hour number 2
I've been here for years.
Of the Bernie and Sid show here on legendary 77 WABC. No guest today. We decided that after this momentous event last night, we would allow you guys to call in and share your opinion.
I'm towering.
You keep going, brother. 1-800-848-WABC, 1-800-848-9222 before Curtis and Kubi come your way in about 53 minutes.
Chris had a good line. Grandma said, knock you out.
Grandma did knock his ass out. Hey, I want to start off quickly. Hour number 2, that we started hour number 1 by sending out a happy birthday wish to my beautiful wife, Danielle. Not listening, but happy birthday. We love you. And she watched the debate last night and agrees with us. So.
Well, she is, full disclosure, she is a Muslim, right?
She's a Muslim. Yes, she is. Yeah.
There you go.
A practicing Muslim. Right.
You think Huma was there?
No, but she was actually she was. And she was actually at Huma's house yesterday.
Your wife?
Hillary was. Getting her very last prep. She stayed at some Doral Hotel for a couple of days, a very fancy place, over the weekend, and prepared, which Donald Trump held against her last night. And then the last preparation she did was at Huma's house.
I don't think Anthony was there, if that's...
What kind of preparation was that?
Preparation H. Who knows? No, listen, Donald Trump lost last night. Let's all you Trump supporters out there, let's acknowledge that. Let's be honest and let's regroup. And we're going to come back strong in 2 weeks. And no big deal. Obama lost to Romney in the first debate in 2012, and then he won the next 2 and continued his presidency. Ronald Reagan, 1984, lost the first debate, came back strong. The next 2, won the presidency.
Not everybody thinks he lost, by the way. Look at the polls.
Ali lost to Frazier. Ali lost to Frazier the first fight,
right?
And they won the second 2 fights.
Yeah.
This is the precedent that I'm seeing with Donald Trump.
What is you're hoping for?
It was his first one-on-one presidential debate. She's had 15 one-on-one debates like that.
Right.
She's experienced in that regard.
Right.
And it served her well last night, perhaps.
Okay.
And he was just totally unprepared. He thought he could wing it. He went in there, and he omitted so many topics that he should have brought up that could have rattled her. And he was hell bent on being the gentleman, statesman-like person that he's been the past month. That's got him to the point where the race is a dead heat. However, in a debate situation, that's not going to serve him well. He's got to go after her. He's got to go for the jugular. When she calls him a sexist and a greedy little man, as Liz Fakahontas might say. He's got to hit back. Look, you talk about greedy. Talk about Wall Street bought and paid for. Talk about the Clinton Global Foundation. Talk about the husband who's an alleged rapist, for God's sake, sitting right out there in the audience.
Doral Arrowwood, excellent job by our good friend the Moose, Mark Malusis, WFAN, listening right now. Doral Arrowwood is exactly right. I'm just going to say this. Everything you said is right. It's factual. All the debates he talked about, the comebacks in the second debate, the good old Andy Pettit. When we lose game 1 with Clemens and Cohen, we're going to come back and win game 2. I'm just going to say this. None of those debates, even Romney's win over Obama, was as decisive as the ass-kicking Hillary Clinton gave Donald Trump last night. And secondly, this is just me, I don't have the confidence that this buffoon, who is completely overmatched in this race, can come back like these other guys did, because he's not a politician, he's not prepared, and he continues, whether it's 16 people for the GOP or this last night, to walk onto that podium with 3 or 4 talking points, which ain't going to last you 90 minutes.
This is where we digress. This is where we diverge. This is where we part. He's not overmatched at all.
Completely overmatched.
Not at all. No, he was just ill-advised last night.
No, Imus said it best this morning, quote, and he said it 10 times. He's overmatched.
Got to take the gloves off. Let Trump be Trump. Take the choke chain off and treat her like he would a guy.
I agree with you. I just don't think it's going to matter. But I agree. Let's see that, and then we'll see what happens.
And by the way, lose the Ralph Cramden facial expressions, because there's a split screen. They got it close up to your chubby face, both of your faces. They don't pull back and show them both evenly on the podiums for whatever reason. And Lester Holt, he won't be in the doghouse with his liberal buddies. He won't be ostracized like Matt Lauer and Jimmy Fallon. You did good by your liberal friends, Lester Holt.
I agree. Lester Holt was completely unfair last night. Again, that's not why Donald Trump lost.
Okay,
but he was unfair.
Let's point out that the only time he admonished the audience for being vocal was when they applauded Trump. He had 6 follow-up questions for Trump, none for Hillary.
True.
And did not bring up some of the very pertinent issues of the day.
Yeah.
And again, Trump could have done so himself. He had plenty of time to do so.
He should have.
However, you did have Trump debating essentially 2 people.
I agree. In fact, not only did he do all that, Lester Holt, but even some of the stuff he brought up. For example, you called her non-presidential. Well, Trump can't win that. I mean, Lester Holt basically put Donald Trump in a corner, in a cage that he can't win.
That was a negative, right.
There were 2 or 3 of those last night in Donald Trump's defense.
That was something that he should have allowed her to bring up. He should have brought up something. Well, yes, let's just face it. He's biased, and he listened to, he saw the beating that, the savage beating that Matt Lauer took, and he ran scared. In fact, he's a thumb-sucking little P-word is what he is. Hey, look who's out there.
Who is that?
Dana White from the UFC.
Yo!
Hey, Dana, you got to come in here. What are you doing out there?
A couple of guys out there, too, that...
Hey, let Dana come in for a second. Let Dana come in. Come on in.
Quickly, the Dana White.
Dana White, who runs the UFC.
Sit down for a second. How are you, pal? Good to see you.
My brother, how are you, man?
Good to see you.
Hey, can you take a seat for a second?
Quickly, sit down. The great Dana White.
Wow.
I'm in.
He's in. Dana White, who runs the wildly successful UFC. And, my favorite sport. Who knew?
Thank you.
And if I only had more time, I'd have more knowledge, but I love the damn sport. Anthony Rumble Johnson was here about just before that last fight.
Right.
He was here. So
how about that fight?
That was fantastic.
Crazy.
I mean, bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
Glover Teixeira. Who would have thunk?
I know. That's what happens when the big boys get in there and start throwing it.
Yes.
Anything can happen.
And Dana, your timing is perfect for 2 reasons. First of all, it is his favorite sport. He loves it. We've had all the guys. We've had Frankie in here. We've had Rumble in here.
The women fighters, they got heart like you can't believe.
He had Holly Holm.
And technique.
But on a second note, it also takes time away from him talking about the ass-kicking, talking about the octagon that Donald Trump took from Hillary Clinton last night.
Right.
So he's thrilled to see you.
That's not the reason. But I do know you did speak at the Republican National Convention on behalf of Donald Trump.
I did.
Because he had faith in you and the sport early on.
He really did. He's always been a good stand-up guy to me since the day I ever met. First of all, when we first bought this company, no venues wanted us in the United States. And Donald Trump called me and said, we'd love to have you out here in New Jersey. Come on out. Not only did he do that, he did the deal with me, and he was there for the first event. He sat there from the first fight to the main event, and every event we went to after that. Everything that's ever happened to me in my career, he has reached out and said nice things.
Yeah.
The Donald Trump that I know is very different than the Donald Trump people see.
Right. So what is, because there seems to be some confusion amongst even some of your most rabid fans, Dana, what is your level of the ownership? What are you doing on a daily basis with UFC right now? What are you doing?
Right. So obviously the sale, was big news. I owned 9% of the UFC. I sold my 9%, and my partners, the Fertittas, sold all their interest. They brought me back and gave me 7.5% to come back. So I'm back.
Fantastic. I'm glad you're back because you're the brains behind the whole. You're the driving force.
Thank you.
The face too.
And the big news of today is that you added Conor McGregor to the big the event in Madison Square Garden right downstairs.
Yep.
In early November. McGregor's going to fight who now? I just heard about this.
McGregor is the 145-pound champion. He will fight the 155-pound champion, Eddie Alvarez.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this card that we put together for, we're coming into MSG and NYC. I had to put the biggest, baddest card we've ever done.
Absolutely.
It's bigger than 100. It's bigger than 200. It's bigger than anything we've ever done.
I'm psyched. I can't wait for it.
You know what's funny, too, about Conor is, and he loves Conor, and the fans love Conor, there's no question, and he's the guy that can really make you a sport go from here to here.
Yep.
But every guy we bring in, every other boxer we bring in can't stand him because they feel like he tries to monopolize the sport. Like, in other words, this is my sport, and the other guys are like, well, how about winning? And then, on a regular basis, and then you can claim it's your sport.
Right. Well, he's the 145-pound champion. He's beat everybody. He moved from 145 to 170 to fight Nate Diaz.
Which took balls.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then, he loses the fight. He says, I want the fight again at 170. Comes back. And it's one of the greatest fights you will ever see in your life.
Absolutely right.
And now he wants to go to 155. All the other fighters can hate on him. This guy will fight anybody, anywhere, anytime.
But that is true.
Right.
You're not denying that. Every fighter hates him. They all hate him.
And I'm the guy, they hate him because he makes a lot of money.
Right.
A
lot of jealousy.
Don't hate him. Be like him.
Well said.
I'm the guy that stands in the living room and looks these guys in the eyes. I'm the guy on the phone when it's crunch time. Your opponent falls out. And you got to make the decision who you're fighting. Conor McGregor, I went to his house where he was in Vegas where he was training. Kid just wakes up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He's in his underwear, hair standing up straight, and he says, so who am I fighting? And we said, well, these are the options. He says, I'm going to the gym. You call me and tell me which option you pick.
Funny.
He doesn't care.
He
doesn't care. That's when you believe in yourself and you know you're the best in the world.
I didn't come to take part. I came to take over.
That's right.
That's his big line.
That's it. Absolutely. It's a great line.
And yeah, it is a great line. And you have one event before that, UFC 204 in early October. Who's headlining that? It's on pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, so 204 is in Manchester, England. Sold out in minutes. Michael Bisping defended his title for the first time in the UK.
That's a bad
against
dude
Dan Henderson.
Right,
yeah,
fantastic.
The rematch.
I look forward to it. Listen,
you know what's funny is for years doing sports up here on WFAN, we both came from there, me and Bernard. I'd have guys ask me, hey, you have Redskin Giant tickets, you have Knicks Celtic tickets, you have Ranger Islander tickets. I swear to you, every person that has texted me the last 3 weeks asked the same question. You got 205 tickets?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I go, let me text Dana White. They go, you know Dana White? I'm like, not really, but it sounded pretty good.
Hey, I was just telling these guys in the car, on an average UFC fight, I have around 200 tickets, that I have to give out. I have less than 50 tickets to this event.
Well, save 40 for me.
That's how crazy this is.
Hey, Dana White, look, congratulations on your success. And, the sport is just taking off like nothing before. First time in New York State, because the creepy politicians, by the way, what they did, it was Sheldon Silver who was getting paid off by a Las Vegas a billionaire out in a hotel.
No, it was the union, the Las Vegas Culinary Union.
Okay, so that's why Sheldon Silver wouldn't allow it to come to a vote in New York State.
That's
the
right.
corrupt guy, he's in jail now, by the way.
And
so
here we are.
The sport is coming to New York City early November. Dana White, the head of the UFC. Congratulations.
He's a badass, by
Thanks
the way.
for stopping by, man.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you, guys.
He's got some size, got some veins. Look at him. He's a badass, Dana White.
And go Trump, baby. Go Trump. Absolutely. All right, back on Bernie and Sid, 1-800-848-922. Back after this.
77.
We are back on 77 WABC, Bernie and Sid. Nice treat, Dana White, head of the UFC, stopping by.
That was awesome. Can I ask you one question before you go to the phones? Why is everybody calling this show up, Bernie and Sid, and saying Sid is wrong, Trump won, when you're the biggest Trump supporter in New York City, and you agree that he got killed last night?
I didn't say he got killed. I know he lost. He lost. He lost the debate. He didn't get killed per se. I think he failed himself. He was remiss. He wasn't prepared. He didn't bring up topics he should have brought up.
So you think he lost?
He did not attack her the way he should have attacked her. That she's a crook who lied to the FBI, who takes money from countries who hate Jews and gays, and that she panders to Jew haters and cop haters like Al Sharpton, Black Lives Matter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I agree.
In the wake
That's
of
why
these
he
riots
lost.
and the terror attacks and his immigration proposals, his strong suit, he didn't bring any of that stuff up, so he lost. But I don't think he got killed.
That's because you're a Trump supporter. He got killed.
Okay, let's find out. Elon from Rockland County. Why do you keep harping on Sid and not me?
Yeah, hi. No. Actually, I like to talk to Sid, okay? And I hope you let me talk instead of cutting me and calling me names, okay? Well, Sid, okay?
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay, well, listen, okay, Sid, okay? I agree. Bernie seems to be take like the backseat today. I don't know why. Okay, as a Trump supporter.
I'm keeping it real, Elon.
I don't know why.
Okay, but listen. Hey, let me talk, please.
Go ahead.
Okay? Okay. Well, okay. I do believe, as the earlier caller says, it was a draw, maybe even a slight toward Trump. Okay. If you look on Hillary Clinton's face, okay, and face you can fake it through words, okay, but face tells a lot, okay. And if you look at her, okay. Many times, okay, she totally froze. Even her smile was a weak smile at times, okay? Like, for example, okay, when he was talking about trade, when he kept pushing the point of, for 30 years, she just talks and no action. It's like a talk, no action, okay? She froze many times. I say she lost her coloring, okay? Now, maybe she was trained by some aggressive persons there, but you can teach somebody how to talk, but you cannot fake a face, okay? Now look on her face, okay? Her face tells it all, okay? On the other side, when you look on Trump, look on Trump. Trump may dispute certain things here. He didn't freeze.
No, of course not. He wasn't. No, let me talk for. Hey, Elon, shut up. This is my show, not yours. I'll let you talk. Shut up, Elon.
Wait a second.
It's my show, not yours. You were able to talk. His face. This guy was drinking water every 2 seconds because he was practically foaming at the mouth. Bernard has said 10 times today that the split screen. He had a Ralph Cramden look on his face. I let you talk. You made your point. Your point is stupid, you're stupid.
He did make. Trump was not totally. He didn't lose every battle. The trade battle, the fact that the 30 years of experience with failure, those were good lines, but they weren't enough to allow him to win the debate.
Okay, but that's fine. Listen, I'm not saying that.
Elon brings up some good points.
No, he doesn't. He says it was a draw,
but
or Trump may have won. Or Trump may have won. That's not a good point. He's talking about Hillary's face. She had this blank-eating grin on his face all night. She never changed it. And listen, you may find that annoying.
It's a phony grin.
It was phony, but the fact is it was very effective. He was the one, Trump, whose face was distorted and moving and sweating.
And he kept drinking water, a la Marco Rubio.
Right, so don't tell me allowed to let you talk. I let you talk, and everything you said was wrong.
I say this out of tough love, and I want him to come back stronger next time, but we have to be honest. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't put your head in the sand and pretend like he won. He did not win.
It's like a sports fan who says, my team is great when my team wins 60 games. There's nothing wrong with admitting whether it's your favorite player, your favorite team, your favorite politician. Listen, chalk it up to a bad night. He's going to come back. The next one he's going to be better.
Yeah.
I still want him to be president. That's fine. But don't come on this show this morning and say he won, because that's stupid.
Let's do what he did with the tweet when Mark Cuban, she said Mark Cuban's going to come, and Mark Cuban tweeted some nasty stuff out, and he tweets out about Jennifer Flowers. You slap me, I rip your throat out. That's the attitude he has to take in the debate scenario. That's what he has to do.
Mark was there, by the way, front seat.
Mark who?
Cuban,
yeah, big deal.
It was actually funny.
He's a loser.
He's surrounded by like 30 cameras, and he goes, I'm not here to, make a big mess of the whole thing. Mark, you've already made it.
You already opened your fat mouth and you made it tough you embarrassed Hillary Clinton. Shut up. 1-800-848-9222. We're going back to the phones after Noam with the news.
77 WABC. News now.
More on
the WABC radio app. Download it now. Upload the BS. 77 WABC.
This is Donald Trump, and let me just say this. This is probably going to take Bernie and Sid over the top, because this is going to be the #1 rated promo they've ever done. I don't even care if you listen to it.
I don't think anybody knows it was Russia that broke into the DNC. She's saying Russia, but maybe it was. I mean, it could be Russia, but it could also be China. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay?
Hey, take it easy. I'm Melissa McCarthy, would you?
Donald Trump last night. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. Bernie and Sid for under 17 minutes before Curtis and Kubi come your way. Want to hit the phones?
I think we do. Look, we're talking about the debate last night. My opinion, Trump went in thinking he was going to have a civil, substantive debate. He was told to be polite, be statesmanlike, be a gentleman, and it bit him in the ass. Plus, he wasn't prepared. But still, she called him names. He did not call her Crooked Hillary. She called him racist, sexist, everything. And he still bit his tongue. He held back and that's going to change next time out.
Well, you would hope so. And I agree with everything you're saying. I do think she beat him in much more decisive fashion than you would admit, although I give you credit as a Trump supporter for admitting that he lost the debate. I thought he got killed, and I thought part of it was, yes, that he wasn't his usual tough self, and part of it is she really exposed him. Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, John Kasich, they're children compared to Hillary Clinton. She's prepared. She may be lying. She may be lying right through her teeth. But
she's lying, all
but
right.
She's got answers. She's prepared. He's got nothing.
Yep.
He walks on stage with 3 or 4 talking points every debate and tries to make it last for 90 minutes. Well, when there's 16 people up there, you can do that. But when it's head-to-head and she's prepared and you're not, he's going to look as bad as he looked last night every time.
Fair enough. He wasn't prepared, but he was wearing a choke chain. He was wearing a muzzle.
That's true.
Self-imposed,
Yeah,
and that's
I
a
agree.
mistake when you with these ruthless animal lying Clinton machine people. You can't do that. It's different than being on the trail, maybe. I don't know. Whatever it is, you get in there with her, and you got to be ready to rumble with her. You have to. Richie from Staten Island, you're on with Bernie and Sid. Good morning, Richie.
Good morning, guys. What's the number one issue of this election? Change, right? So what was the best line of the night? When Trump goes to Hillary, you've been doing this for 30 years, and what have you fixed?
Okay.
I think that was the best line of
All
the
right,
night.
let's take a listen to that line. Richie.
For 30 years you've been doing it, and now you're just starting to think of solutions.
Well,
I will bring back jobs. You can't bring back jobs.
Well, actually, I have thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, for 30 years.
I have, not quite that long.
Yeah, I thought that was a good line. I thought he said it about 150 times, and after the second or third time, it loses some of its. But that was his best line of the night. Yes, Richie, that was hardly the best line of the night.
Well, what was the best line?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe when he admitted that he was rooting for the housing to collapse because, quote unquote, that's good business. Maybe that. Maybe when he said that he admitted that he doesn't pay his tax returns because, quote unquote, he's smart. You don't think those are a little more biting than him saying you've done this for 30 years 1,000 times?
Well, maybe if he brought up the fact that Andrew Cuomo started the housing crisis.
He didn't bring up anything. He didn't bring up anything. That's our point. That's Bernie's point.
Yeah, Cuomo and the Democrats. He wasn't. He didn't rebut that mortgage crisis, depression thing as he should have intelligently. Which with her and Cuomo. Cuomo was heading up HUD at the time, the Housing Urban Development. Barney Frank was on some committee in Congress overseeing Freddie Mac and Freddie Mae and all that stuff, giving people who can't afford them mortgages, and that's what created the collapse. It precipitated it all, and she was behind it herself. Now, listen, a sidebar to what happened last night was Trump came out afterwards and did an interview with Sean Hannity and explained why, when she called him a sexist at the end of the debate, why he did not go after Bill Clinton because Chelsea was in the room. That's not going to happen next time.
All right.
And you forget Chelsea. Chelsea, by the way, calls him a sexist as well. So she's fair game.
I totally agree. If Ivanka's sitting there and Hillary's going to say something to him, then he should. I agree with you. Now, I don't know how effective that is at this point. I don't know. But I will tell you this. Whatever he did last night didn't work. So he needs to completely change his game plan for the second debate.
Yeah. So anyway, the sidebar that I'm talking about is that when Trump was talking to Hannity, it was Bret Baier and Megyn Kelly on Fox. And so Hannity has Trump. So Megyn Kelly throws it to, they're talking about the emails or something. And listen to what she said about Hannity. Take a listen.
But there was a lot of time that he was given to exploit the issue, which has been a major issue in the campaign. And it went unused. He went back to the taxes and playing defense on that. We've got Trump speaking to our own Sean Hannity. We'll see whether he speaks to the journalists in this room after that interview. Let's listen.
Regulations. You talked a lot about things that I've talked a lot about, repatriating money. How much do you think would come back overseas? How many jobs do you think would be created?
Well, he said that? $2.5 trillion and many, many jobs.
Serious hatred going on up there at Fox News, man. She is disliked big time, and you just an example of why.
Yeah, but that's a good. I mean, for her, that's a great shot.
Low blow.
I got to give her credit. Now listen.
What do you mean a great shot? Why is that a great shot? Taking a shot at a colleague? What if I took a shot at you like that?
No, they're not friends.
If I took a shot at Curtis Sliwa.
Oh, hold on. They're not friends.
Or Ron Cooper.
They don't like each other. I don't like her.
Or why?
I wouldn't even watch the post-debate coverage because of her, but at least give her credit for standing up for herself.
Well, how is that's taking a cheap shot at one of your colleagues?
So
is the way I see it.
He deserves it, Sean. Sean's become the most, and I love Sean. Love him. One of my highlights of my career was going on his show. He has become one of the most annoying guys in this business.
Now listen, he is all in for Trump, but he puts it out on the table, unlike the people on CNN.
He actually had Trump winning the debate last night. That's not.
No, I know that. I said that myself several times this morning, that he's got his head in the sand. If he thinks Trump won that debate last night, he's losing his credibility.
But we don't care about a lot of people. We're talking about people in the business that have a half a brain.
Who should know better.
Right. Not people online that just, I love Trump, so he won. Or you, for that matter, I love Dealey.
Look at all the polls.
Those polls don't mean nothing. It's online polls.
The online polls really are not reflective. They're not indicative.
Enough with that.
People who go online, it's not a good sample of the general public. And by the way, I saw the debate. I'm sitting there with people like my son or people who are, friends of mine or whatever, and we're not giving each other high fives. That's an indication that he's not winning the debate. Need I say more? I'm all in for Trump. I swallow for Trump.
Right.
What?
And I thought Imus was funny today too when he said I watched the debate. I was standing around the corner, kind of like one hand over my eye. That's kind of funny.
I mean, it was like cringe-inducing if you're a Trump supporter. If you wanted him to do well, you wanted him to take the crooked liar, the person who lied to the families of heroes on the tarmac with their bodies feet away. You want to see him take her out. And he wasn't.
And that doesn't mean that, Trump supporters are not going to support him anymore or that all of a sudden they like Hillary. Of course that's not the case. Of course not. But you can't be a rational, legitimate, credible journalist, watch what happened for 90 minutes last night and go, he did well.
I don't think you can. Paul from Queens. Paul, you are on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, guys. I look at it this way. I think it was a little bit of a draw, and then it kind of ended up, listen, Hillary started throwing a kitchen sink, a toilet bowl, all the pipes and the shingles at this guy. But you know what? He had a few things to say, because we're talking about $20 trillion that the president put in there, another $8 on top of everybody else. Then we got to pay back. A family has got $30,000 with 7 kids. Each one of those kids owes $50,000 back to the government. That's important.
You know what's funny, Paul? I heard you make the same exact phone call, make the same exact point to Noam at 5:45 this morning. Was that you?
No, that was a different guy. I'm bringing up that guy's point.
Okay.
Wrong again, Sid.
No, they're good points. No, they're good points. I was giving him credit, but it is him. He made the same exact points. It's the same exact voice. And I appreciate the fact you listen all day long to our station, but you did make that call earlier today. You did.
No,
yeah, you did.
Else.
No, Paul, it was you. The exact point, $50,000, a family of 5. I mean, verbatim. I will get the call and replay it. It's verbatim, Paul.
Sid, you're out of your mind, man. Hey, Paul, thank you for the call, and it was an excellent point.
Could I get Noam in here?
Eddie from New Jersey, you're on with Bernie and Sid. A crazed Sid Rosenberg on WABC. Good morning, Eddie.
Hey, good morning, guys. Love the show. I think she clearly had won the debate last night. I don't think she destroyed him, but I'm really disappointed because I think Trump had the opportunity last night to really possibly even move everything into the lead for him. And I think had he been prepared, had he listened to a lot of the prep, and had he done the homework, we could be all sitting here today going, my God, Trump is very well.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he let us down. He let us Trump supporters down.
No doubt he did, but the thing that is, I think you have to look at is that most people, I think, are going to watch this thing for 20 minutes, a half an hour, and say, I'm going to bed. And I think when you look at the beginning of it, I think he was winning it. I think she looked extremely nervous, almost a deer in the headlights when she came out. He made some great points and immediately got on top.
He was strong on trade, bringing back jobs, law and order, yes, and then it went downhill from there.
He had some meatball questions that he could have teed up, and he was really disappointing to see what happened when he did not really hammer her on the emails. He could have also said to her, look, you were part of the federal government. You were one of the top people there. Of course you should know what's going on from an intel point. I made this comment not knowing what was going on and frankly being very emotional when I was on the Howard Stern show, as most people were. But once I came to my senses and did a little homework, I realized I was not for the war.
Right.
And he could have really drilled that.
Plus, he didn't vote for it in the Senate. And fear not.
He wasn't a politician. That's
right. Fear not. Of course, we have 2 more debates, and there's no way in hell I'm ever going to abandon Donald Trump. I'm just calling it as I saw it last night. Right. He didn't win. 4 square behind Donald Trump. He's the man. He's going to make America great again. But I have to be honest, he did not win last night. Bernie and Sid on WABC. Back after this.
77 WABC.
Had a blast, bro. Yesterday at Hofstra, today going over the debate. I got to say, man, I got to give you a lot of credit, too, for stepping up today, and it was great.
Listen, fantastic job. Look, I'm very disappointed and disillusioned this morning, but
it's okay.
I'm staying strong.
We'll do the same show in 2 weeks.
You know what we will. In which case, I'll be crowing, and you'll be, you'll be like saying, oh, well, look, there's one more debate, so don't worry.
Right, 1-1, we'll have a rubber match. I could lose the next one.
Exactly right.
But if I win the next one, the third one doesn't count. Pressure's on you, good looking.
All I have to say to my fellow Trump supporters out there is keep hope alive.
I love you.
Keep it alive.
I love you, Danielle. Happy birthday.
Take care. Happy birthday, Danielle.